94 Rocks, Jay-Z hanging out with Rory from the band Dayseeker. And first of all, Rory, great to see you. How you doing?
I'm really good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You and I had a chance to talk back in 2022. I looked it up, and that's when Dark Sun, the album, was just releasing. And you also were out on tour with Bad Omens on the Concrete Jungle thing. I remember in that interview, we talked a little bit about your song Without Me, and it did very well. I actually predicted it. You probably don't remember this, but I did predict that this could be your first top 20 song ever, and I believe it got to top 20 for the first time ever. What my question, I guess, is when you talked with me in that conversation we had, you said at that time, this is a moment that we starting to see something grow here. I'm assuming now in the last couple of years, that moment has increased even more.
It has definitely. It's still a very surreal experience going out on tour and playing the kind of shows we do. And it's been yeah, it's crazy. I think a few years ago we were maybe pulling, four or 500 people if we were lucky in smaller clubs. And we did a headliner this past fall and it was more like 2,000 to 3,000 people a night. And so it's still kind of shocking to be like, wow, you're really all here to see us? That's crazy.
You've been doing this for a while. It's not that you just didn't start. You've been around for a while, and it's taken a while to get there, but you're starting to feel the momentum going your way, aren't you?
Yeah, it's something I've been doing for almost 20 years. And I'd say that the last 5 or 6 years is where I've really seen it kind of start to pay off. And we're really grateful because, I know a ton of talented guys who've been playing in bands for years who, for whatever reason, the stars just don't align for them. And it feels like we're lucky to be where we're at. And it is just a process though of constantly grinding and touring and writing and playing. But yeah, we're lucky to be where we're at for sure.
I think you're right now just about ready to break huge. And I think you're doing it with this song Pale Moonlight that just came out. I just talked to somebody. They said it's streamed over 1 million streams in 1 week for you guys. That is crazy.
Yeah, I think it's streamed. It's weird. I almost think the YouTube views on the video are exceeding the Spotify streams, which is not super common. And yeah, I think it's almost at 2 million now, which is crazy about 2 weeks later. So I'll take it, man. It's yeah, because I think our last single Without Me, I think it did like 80,000 streams in the first 24 hours. And I think Pale Moonlight did more like 250,000 streams. So it was definitely a big jump up for sure.
Yeah, so I'll make a prediction since I did last time without me. Pale Moonlight will be a top 10 song, your first top 10 song ever. You think that'll happen? I think it will.
Man, I hope so. I know it's charting on some rock radio. I'm not entirely sure where it's at exactly, but that would be incredible. It definitely feels like it has the formula to kind of fit a good top rock radio song, but we'll see. Fingers crossed,
All right. Well, we're gonna come back here in about 6 months or so, and I'm gonna say, yep, there it is. You got your first 10. That'll
Yeah,
be awesome. All right,
of
let's talk
course.
about Pale Moonlight. And I know you got a new album that eventually has got to be coming out, I'm guessing. So the one question that I guess I have to ask is, is this what we're gonna kind of hear on the upcoming album, or what kind of Dayseeker new album are we gonna hear?
Yeah, it's definitely it's funny because our last record it was so heavy in content because it was mostly about my dad's passing, but we still were leaning into this synth rock kind of pop style. And I feel like this record, it's more just about some personal things I've been dealing with the last couple of years. And it's, for whatever reason, yeah, it's just a much more darker, kind of eerie. I'd almost say there's kind of this sort of overarching theme of like horror and kind of death throughout the whole record. So I definitely feel like it's our darkest piece of work yet. And to me, it feels like our best album we've ever done. But it's definitely a little bit on the darker side compared to our last album, Dark Sun.
Okay, so then the next question, I guess, is you've got Pale Moonlight. That's the first song that you're putting out. but there's going to be many other ones. When are we expecting this new album to come out? And do we even know yet? Do we have a name for that? Where are we at, I guess, on that?
Yeah, we have a really a pretty specific timeline in mind. So we're planning to announce the album and drop another single in July at some point. And then our plan is hopefully for the full album to be out by October. Uh,
Okay.
so we're we're trying to stick to that timeline. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with music videos and getting artwork finished, getting the record fully mixed and mastered. So we're pretty much right at the finish line. But yeah, we should have another new song out within 2 months and have the rest of the record out a few months after that. But we're super excited for everybody to hear it.
Let me ask you, I've asked lots of different artists, is there any method to your madness of putting things out, I guess, because some people like to put just singles out, other ones like to really one quick single and then drop a whole album. Well, I guess what is your method to madness?
I think a healthy tease is a good idea. We've kind of run this formula where we put out a single and we don't really announce anything behind it. It's just a song for people to enjoy. And then the next single we do is kind of the announce of the album. I mean, our plan from there is to hopefully put out another single every 6 weeks, I think. So I think there would be four more singles once after the album's announced, and then around when the fourth single drops is right when the album comes out to the public. So you want to keep your content kind of constantly engaging your audience so they don't forget that you have an album coming out. And I feel like if you drop another new song for them to hear every like month or 6 weeks, it keeps it interesting and it keeps them engaged with your content.
And of course, when you put stuff out, that means you got to get out on the road and do some stuff too. I know you're doing some festivals, but before we got on the call today, you had mentioned you just announced something too. Can you let us know about that?
Yeah, just a few more festivals. We're playing Incarceration and what is it? It's I think it's Rock Park or something. It's a festival in Toronto, Ontario, in Canada,
Oh,
and
cool.
it's a small run. It's like a week's worth of shows, kind of out on the East Coast, and we actually have two full U.S. tours planned for later this year. We just haven't announced them yet, but they're going to be announced very soon. So we're going to be out on the road pushing our music right when the record's ready to drop.
Can I at least ask, are you headlining those or are you support of those? What are you planning?
We headlined most of last year,
Yeah.
so we wanted to focus more on supporting a little bit this year. So we're headlining in July for a few shows, but the two full US tours we're doing are actually support tours for other bands that we wanted to be out on the road with.
Well,
But they're
talk about that. I mean, do you enjoy the supporting? Do you enjoy the headlining? I mean, it's two different animals, isn't it?
yeah, headlining is harder, but it's probably more rewarding because you're the first at the venue, you're the last to leave. It's an hour plus long set. When you support, you get to show up a little bit later to the venue. You're only playing 30 to 45 minutes at a time. It's a bit easier, I think, but I don't know. There's a nice balance. I will say that I feel like last year we were out on the road about 6 months out of the year and we fully headlined the whole time. And I definitely did miss like, man, it's nice to play your set and then you can kind of like hang out and have a drink and watch another band play and the show's still going, because once you play and you're headlining, it's like the show's over and then it's like, okay, we gotta get all our production out of this venue. We gotta unwind. And I think sometimes supporting is cool because it feels like you get to do your job and then you get to like help support somebody else.
Yeah. I feel like there'd be some pressure put on by being a headliner because typically that's the one that's selling the tickets. Now, obviously, you guys are making your way up the charts and doing things like that. So I'm guessing it's getting a lot easier to start filling venues.
It is, depending on like which venue we're in exactly, it can be good. I still think we're around like a 2,000 to 3,000 cap kind of venue. I think making that jump into like 5 and 6,000 caps is where things get a little more challenging to do. So I'm curious to see how much our band is going to grow off this new record, but we're all optimistic. We feel really good about it.
So I know you can't tell me who you're going out with, but will the tours be maybe in 6,000 seat arenas coming up this fall
Uh,
or
uh,
soon?
I think it's more, I think it's like, yeah, closer. I think on the lower end, like 3,000, and I think on the higher, 5 or 6,000. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to be, some great shows, and it'll be cool because we'll have had some newer music out by the time we start some of these shows. So we'll be kind of trying to push our new record along while we're out on the road.
You see, I'm trying to make you slip up, Rory, but you're doing a great job. You're a professional. You've been doing this for a while. So,
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
hey, what are other surprises that we might see in 2025 for Dayseeker, or something maybe we should be watching for?
Yeah, I know right around the time the album comes out, we want to do some pop-up experiences for our fans. So I think we're gonna do in like maybe major cities like Los Angeles or New York, we want to rent out like warehouses or venues, and we want to kind of have like a giveaway situation for fans where we allow maybe a couple hundred of them to come do like a listening experience for the album. We might play a few kind of stripped versions of the songs, do a Q&A answering questions about the album, and might have some like cocktails that are inspired by songs and things off the album. We just talked about trying to do like a cool experience that where we can involve our fans and kind of immerse them into the new record that's going to come out. So we haven't done anything like that before, and I think it'll be a really cool thing to experience with our fan base.
Absolutely. Anything like that that's a little bit unique, a little bit different, is always something that will drive people to show up. And I love the small, intimate setting thing. I've talked to actually Jacoby from P. Roach, and I know that he had mentioned doing something maybe like 500 or less. So, and of course, you're an Orange County guy, so I'm assuming you probably know Jacoby, or at least maybe you listened to him, grew up with him, and that. So, kind of maybe the same philosophy thinking a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely grew up a Papa Roach fan. I don't know him personally, but he works with a lot of people that I know, and yeah, I've heard great things about him. But yeah, it seems like we're on similar wavelengths, definitely. Just a cool way to have a different experience with the fan than just we're playing a show here and come buy a ticket. Like we want to do something a little more personal with our listeners, so it feels like it's an experience they won't ever forget.
Hey, 2025, I think, is the year of Dayseeker. Do you believe that this could be the year that really puts you to the next level where you want to be?
I hope so. I feel very confident in the new record, and I really really am hoping people enjoy it as much as we do. It feels like our strongest collection of songs that we've ever written and put together. So I feel very good about the future and very good for 2025, definitely.
I would 100% agree. And with Pale Moonlight coming out and the way it's taken storm, and we're spinning the hell out of it here at 94 Rocks. So
Thanks,
love
man.
it. Give us a little bit of the history of that song, I guess. And, every interpretation is different by a listener, but what was your interpretation for that song?
Yeah, that song is mainly just kind of about any vice that you could have with alcohol, drugs, sex, anything that you're addicted to that is toxic for your well-being, but you kind of keep letting yourself fall back into it, even though you can see that it's not good for you in your life. So I just wrote that about some things I was dealing with last year, and I like that it feels like it's applicable to a lot of not being able to hold back on going hard on the things that are toxic for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, we've all been there at some point, I'm sure, and you can relate to that song definitely. Hey, Rory, I know we got to get going here, but is there anything you want to say? I know you've said a lot here already, but is there anything else you want to say out to your fans of Dayseeker?
Yeah, just thanks for listening to us. Thanks for supporting our music, and we will have details on our new album out in July, very, very soon. So keep an eye out.
Roy, I appreciate your time with me. I wish you the best of luck with this song. And like I said, I think this is going to be your first top 10 song. So when that happens, I'm going to reach out to you and let you know, hey, congratulations.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Once again, that is Rory Rodriguez. He's the lead singer of the band Dayseeker. Well, that top 10 song, which is going to happen, I think, in a few months. Here it is now. It's Pale Moonlight. It's on the dark. It's 94 Rocks.